Welcome, yogis. Today's class, we're going to work on some arm balances and getting upside down. So that naturally comes with hip opening and shoulder opening. So if you're not big into getting upside down, don't worry about it. We'll be able to still just play around and build some strength. So if you have your blocks, go ahead and grab those and let's get going. All right, let's get started. You can just, if you have blocks, put them off to the side. If you need to use them, we can reference them. And then I'm going to have us start today in child's pose. Let's bring toes together, knees wide, and just set up your arms however is comfortable. Now all we're trying to do here is soften. Feel the weight of your body as it settles into the earth. And then the soft but steady movement of your breath. Connect even deeply with your body by feeling the expansion that comes with inhale. And the settling and softening with exhale. Listen to the echo of your breath as it bounces off the floor. Take these last few moments to clear out and let go. Begin to bring yourself up through tabletop. Tuck your toes and lift back to downward facing dog. Now seek out a still place in down dog. Spread your palms wide. Feel where the pressure lands in your hands. And see about shifting that a little bit more to the meaty part of your hand. So sort of that thumb side. And then I want us to play with Ujjayi breath here. So I'll walk you through it if it's new to you. The idea is that you're restricting your throat a bit to make a sound with the breath, like you're fogging up a window. So let's start with the breath through the nose. And then out the mouth. One more like that. Full breath in. Ha sound on the way out. Now take another breath in. This time seal your lips, but do the same thing. Again, through the nose. With lips sealed, out the mouth. Now you can continue with this half Ujjayi breath, or you're going to keep that same restriction as you breathe in. Listen to the sound of your breath and connect to it. Come up onto your tiptoes. Take a walk forward to the top of the mat to a forward fold. Breathe in, flat back, lift halfway. Breathe out and bow forward. Once more like that. Inhale, flat back. And exhale to fold. Press through your feet as you rise to stand. Sweep your arms high. Hands to heart, exhale. Guide your left hand to your hip. Right arm to sky, inhale. Press your hips right as you side bend to the left. And then right away we switch. Right hand to hip, extend and side bend. We'll take these a few times. Reach and switch. Once more each side. And switch. All right, back to center. Now, we'll take this kind of like you're holding the world, or like kind of like a field goal arm, right? Open the heart with bent elbows, and then bend the knees, round forward like you're hugging a tree. Again, open and round. Keep moving with these. So today we're looking for some fluidity through repetition. One more, open, round and hug. And come back up to neutral. All right. This time we're going to step the left foot behind as the left arm reaches out the diagonal and back. The right hand can be at hip or draping, whatever works. Back to center and switch. So the right leg back, right arm reaches back, and you switch. So again, we'll repeat these. Feel out what feels good. Maybe a deep bend in the standing leg, creating this sort of lunge shape. All right, come back to center. Now take your left foot, cross it in front of your right hand to hip. One more side bend to the right, and we can use the left foot to give us a little bit more stability to perhaps reach a little further. Back to center, switch sides. Right leg crosses in front of the left. Left hand to hip, reach with the right arm. And back to center, 2 feet to mat. Take a breath in, extend your arms up. Breath out, fold forward. Flat back. Ground your palms, step back to plank. Now here we're going to keep the elbows completely straight. Pinch the pencil between your shoulder blades to sink your heart down. And then push the floor away, spread the shoulder blades apart. If this is too much here, you can always drop your knees and do the same thing. Again, soften the heart and press away. Squeeze the pencil and press. Just 2 more. Lower and push. Last one and push. Drop your knees and come into a stacked tabletop position. All right, so now we'll work with the movement of the shoulder blades. So again, the elbows are staying straight. This is movement in the shoulders and the back. So first, we'll squeeze the pencil, lower the heart. Retract. So draw your shoulder blades down towards your waistline. Recognize this as your back bend shoulders. Press the floor away. Still with the retraction, might feel a little awkward. And then hike it up towards the ears with the press away, right? Recognize this as your crow back. Again, squeeze the pencil. Draw down towards waistline. Press away, up to ears. Squeeze the pencil to waistline. Press away, up to ears. Squeeze the pencil down to waist. Press away and to ears. Try a couple more. Maybe getting a little bit more fluid. Still getting into each spot, but circling through. All right, now come back to neutral. So this time we're going to reverse the motion. Press away, draw down towards waistline. Squeeze the pencil, up to ears. Press away to waistline. Squeeze the pencil, to ears. Press away, squeeze to waist. Pencil, ears. Press, down, squeeze, ears. Couple more. Again, if you can get more of that circling motion, try it out. All right, sink it back, child's pose. Allow your elbows to be soft. Relax your arms and just let everything settle for a few more moments. Bring yourself forward to your forearms. Tuck your toes and lift to dolphin. Heels settle towards the earth as you press through your elbows. Strong breaths, perhaps coming back to the Ujjayi breath. Now we'll try shifting forward to Chaturanga. Palms will stay planted. Your elbows will lift as you pull forward. Press plank pose. Down dog, hips high and back. Couple breaths. Rise onto tiptoes. Take a walk forward, feet to hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, bow forward. Rise to stand, sweep your arms up. The hands to heart, exhale. Inhale, reach to sky. Exhale, bow forward. Halfway lift. Plant your palms, step your left foot back, runner's lunge. Tent your left fingers, peel your right arm high to twist. One more inhale. Take your right hand back down to the mat. Step back, plank pose. Come through Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. To downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Inhale, left leg to sky, sweep it up. Draw your knee forward, step through to runners. Tent your right fingers, left arm high to twist. Take your left hand down, step forward, top of the mat. Flat back and fold. Rise to stand, extend your arms and hands to heart. Again, inhale, reach to sky. Exhale, fold. Flat back. Ground the palms, right foot back, runner's lunge. Tent your right fingers, left arm to sky, breathe in. Stay for exhale. One more inhale. Left hand to mat. Inhale, plank. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward face. And exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in, right leg to sky. Knee to chest, step it forward, runner's lunge. Tent your left fingers, right arm to sky, lift it up. Stay for exhale. Inhale, open. Exhale, right hand down, step forward to fold. Halfway lift. Bow forward. Rise to stand, sweep your arms. Hands to heart. Again, extend upward. Fold forward. Offer the heart. Ground your palms, step or jump. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. To downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Inhale, sweep your right leg to the sky. Take knee to chest, step the foot through. From here, it's side angle. So if you have a block, you can always put that inside of your right foot. Otherwise, it's either hand or tented fingers. Spin your left heel in and down and send your left arm to the sky. Now, if this is too deep, you can always hold your ankle or take elbow to knee. Use your body and your shoulder to help peel your right knee open. At the same time, you're swiveling your hips underneath you and in line with the pose. Press down through your feet, stay grounded. Exhale, warrior 2. Rise up. Find your stance. And then we'll try a little shift to half moon. So again, if you need the block, you'll bring that forward and to the right of your front foot. Try a little launch into it. Test out the balance. And come right back. Reverse warrior. Windmill down and out. Flow it through. Settling into dog for a few breaths. Breathe in, left leg high to sky. Take your knee forward, step it through. Again, it's side angle. So either block, tented fingers, or a planted palm. Spiral your right heel down and send your right arm high. You remember your variations if you need a little bit more height. Ensure that you aren't sitting out in the pose. So again, we're using the shoulder to lean into the knee. Swivel the hips underneath you and squeeze your glutes. Roll your shoulders down away from your ears. And then exhale, rise up, warrior 2. Adjust your stance, maybe shortening a little bit as you know where we're going. Try out your half moon. Little flight maybe. Use the block if you need it. And then it's right back, reverse warrior. Windmill down and flow it through. And lower your knees, child's pose. Sink it back. Pull forward and make your way down to your belly. Stack your palms one on top of the other with your elbows wide and let your forehead rest on your hands. Lift your gaze. Bring tented fingertips on the floor outside. So tented fingers are underneath your elbows. We're pressing the elbows forward. So we'll do a little bit of cobra ripples. So the idea is to find some wave in the spine. It starts with a roll up. So you're leading from your back, chin to chest. Press through the fingers. Elbows push forward. Lift up. Gaze lifts as your final expression. And then the elbows wrap in as you melt it back down. Again, rise up, elbows forward. Melt down, elbows in. Keep on working with these. Move at the pace of your breath. And try to feel some of the isolation in the upper back. Notice where things feel stuck. And keep working the movement in the arms, which will translate into movement through the shoulder blades. And therefore, more mobility in your back. Finish out one more ripple. And then we'll extend the left arm out wide. Take your right hand under your shoulder. Press to roll onto your left side. And if you can, you'll step your right foot behind you. Breathe. Take it back over to your belly. Extend your right arm wide, left hand under shoulder. Roll to your right side. Again, if you can, you'll step your left foot behind. Take it back over to your belly. Set your hands up by your low ribs. Tuck your toes under and just straighten your legs. Let your kneecaps lift. Wrap your elbows towards your body. And then we'll begin by pressing the hands into the mat. Just feel the musculature turn on. Roll the shoulders up away from the floor. Let's try pressing to hover just an inch or two above the ground. And then push plank pose. Hips high and back, downward facing dog. Settle into your breath. Now let's resist automation. Try not to do the three-leg dog. Simply lift your right foot and step it outside your right hand for a lizard lunge. Hug your knee in towards your shoulder while extending the heart forward. Now we'll start with Skandasana with the front knee still bent. So you're just going to pivot the feet. You can stay lifted or get a little deeper by turning your left toes to the sky. And then we will shift back and forth through Skandasana. So you'll take these at your leisure. What I do want you to focus on is keeping your heel grounded in the bent knee, right? So sometimes the heel lifts, that's okay. For today, I want you to just explore keeping it on the ground. So that could mean using your hands, using a reach forward. If the heel still lifts, no problem. We're just keeping some of that intention. All right, now pull it forward back to your lizard lunge at the top of the mat. Big step forward, yogi squat. Feet wide, lower your hips, and take your hands to heart. So here, our intention is to sit up tall. We want to get away from the butt sticking out. We do that by spiraling the feet out in a way, right? Heels in, toes out. Feel the extra engagement in the glutes. Use your elbows and the inner thighs to push, and then you're thinking of your sits bones scooping underneath you as you lean back and get upright. All right, now, if you're up for it, we're going to take the hands down. You can give yourself a little space to play with, and we'll try a couple hops. Ground down through your palms. We're going to do a big jump, clap the feet, and back down. Keep the arms straight as can be. Try to keep your landings really light. Right, maybe a little hover time. Eventually we'll come back to yogi squat. And now I want you to try your crow pose. So this entry is a little bit different. We're starting from yogi squat, but it's still the same elements. Lift the hips. Today, even if you typically do crow by squeezing into the backs of the arms, I want you to just squeeze the outside of the arms. Get into the shoulders and hug in. Look forward, lean forward. Bring those toes together to kiss, and then maybe shoot it back through chaturanga. Play with that if you'd like a little bit longer. Eventually, we meet back in a downward facing dog. From your down dog. Again, we'll resist the three-leg dog. Simply step your left foot wide outside your hand for lizard lunge. Settle in, active through the legs, pull the heart forward. Shift to Skandasana, first just in the front leg. The right toes can stay grounded or flip to the sky. And then again, we'll take this back and forth with the intention of keeping the heel on the ground. So this is starting to feel a little bit more comfortable. I'll challenge you to try interlacing your fingers, flip your palms away, and extend them up to the sky. Pull forward, back to lizard at the top of the mat. And then again, it's a big step forward to yogi squat. Hands to heart, elbows, peel the knees wide, spiral the feet to grip through the glutes. All right, sit down, maybe without hands. Extend your legs into a wide leg seat. Now again, we're active in the legs, toes peel back towards the shins. Sit up tall and walk forward to fold. So if the legs happen to spiral in, don't worry too much about that. The hip sockets are going to determine what happens in this pose, so we don't want to fight that. If you have your blocks handy, you could always use those for maybe just support under your forehead, or even support under your rib cage and your forehead. Find a position that works for you that you can settle into. And start to walk yourself back up to seated. Of course, if you have your blocks, move those off to the side. We'll sit up tall, inhale. Twist to the right on exhale. The hands can just frame the right leg, right fingers tented behind, and a spiral of your chin towards your shoulder. Another full breath in. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale is lengthen. Exhale, twist left. Left hand behind, right hand inside the inner thigh, and you twist. Exhale, come back around to center. All right, now we can narrow the V just a touch if it's very wide. Let's shift to aim at the right leg, and we're going to take tented fingers right by the knee. The idea is to have the hands far enough away from you so that the work is in the belly. If you're sitting upright and the hands are closer, then you have this ability to lean back as we, spoiler alert, lift the right leg. So again, you'll tent your fingers. Here we go. Let's see about getting the right foot off the floor. So it might just be a lift and lower like that. Maybe it's some pulses. So we're going to try lifting the right leg. If you can keep it up, pulse it up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Put it down. Switch sides. Tented fingers. Again, around the knee, maybe a little bit further down. Keep the pressure in your hands as you lift your left foot off the ground. Pulse it up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put it down. All right. Let's try it again. Switch to the right side. Tent the fingers. Here we go. Lift the leg. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put it down. Switch it over to the left. Press and lift. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put it down. All right. The next thing we're going to try to do is lift and hover. So the idea is to have the hands framing the right leg to start, closer to your hips this time, right? So we want it closer to the center. If you have blocks, it's going to make it a little bit easier in the sense that you've got more room to play with. So you can always bring those to frame your right leg, hands on the blocks. Okay, so let's find a position. Place your hands down. Start by lifting first, just your butt off the ground. See how that goes. And then maybe one or both legs. Play with it. Hover. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Come on down. All right. Switch to the other side. Just one of these on each side. Press down through the palms. Again, first try lifting the butt. Then maybe one or both legs. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Lower down. All right. If you've got knee stuff going on, mine often feels a little bit cranky when we do the wide leg folds, so you might just take your hands under your knees and give it a little bit of life. And then ultimately help the knees to come to bend. Place your feet as wide as the mat with your hands behind you, and then we're to just drape the legs back and forth. Drape your legs over to the right. Take your left arm around, both hands towards the back of the mat as you twist. Take it back around through center. Drape the knees to the left. Right arm comes around, hands towards the back of the mat, and you twist. Take it back to center. Help yourself back up to yogi squat. And we're going to try firefly pose. To get into this shape, you'll be in the squat position, but you're going to lift your hips up really high. The hands are going to come back, still in this neutral position, but behind the line of the heels. So that means not right behind, but just behind that line. Now, your hands are going to be lifted while your weight is on your feet. So you'll need to set yourself up in position, fingers grounded, heels of hands likely lifted. Squat deep through the legs and squeeze into your shoulders with your knees. Now your elbows are going to bend a little bit. Your butt's going to come down so you connect your thighs with your triceps. Or I should say, the backs of your legs with the backs of your arms. Sit your weight back. Your weight's going to shift into your hands and out of your feet, right? So there does take a little bit of courage to lean back. Keep squeezing in, and then maybe you hook the toes and hover. Maybe you can straighten the legs. Now, if and when you're ready, you might drop down onto your butt. You can try that a few times if you like. I'll do it one more time and cue you through it again. So we want to make sure there is, again, a shift of weight. So we're squeezing in first, then we're dropping the weight into the hands, right? You can't possibly be standing on the feet while getting the hands completely anchored. So there's going to be that little bit of courage and shift, right? Always hug into midline and keep gripping through your fingers. So we set up, get those fingers back, work the knees into the arms, bend down, connect the backs of your legs with the backs of your arms, and then as your weight shifts into your hands, it comes out of the feet, and we squiggle wiggle in towards midline. Hook the toes, maybe extend the legs. If you extend the legs, you can bend your elbows quite a bit, like chaturanga, right? Give the legs a shelf. Look forward, toes forward. Eventually, you can start to sit the hips down, the legs come up. I'm still working on that variation. All right, when you're all through, we're just going to take it over to tabletop. If your wrists are a little achy, come onto fists and just hang out here for a moment. Neutral spine, rein in your breath. All right, bring your toes together. Sink it back to child's. And then in this one, bring your elbows a little bit wider, almost like a field goal position. Give your neck a little breathing room. Be heavy and breathe. Start to pull yourself forward and then down onto your belly. Reach your arms behind you. Zip your legs together. Point your toes. And then locust pose. Here we go. Inhale, everything lifts. Reach back with the arms and the toes. Press your palms together like you had a block between them. Breathe easy. Stay for 3, for 2, and 1. Lower down, right cheek to mat. Settle. Again, gaze to center. Zip your legs together, point your toes. Inhale, lift off. Now this time you can stay here, or we're going to bend the knees, reach back with the hands, see if maybe you can connect to the ankles at the same time. And then it's a kick up and back. hug in towards midline. Breathe here for 3, for 2, and 1. Lower down, left cheek to mat, and settle. Bring your gaze back to neutral. Hands under shoulders. Press it all the way back. Child's pose. Walk your hands back to your knees. Come to sit up on your heels. All right, so we're going to try our pincha. In this pincha, I'll invite you to come into it with split legs. So I'll show you what this looks like. The idea is that you're giving yourself a little room to play with to find the balance. So if you think of walking on a tightrope, right, if you're trying to balance in a straight line, it's a little bit harder. That's why they invite you to bring your arms out or even hold that big pole to help you kind of catch the balance and stay in control. So we're going to use that same thought process, but with the legs. If you're near a wall, feel free to use that. Otherwise, you can try this in the middle of the room. So again, I'll show you what it looks like. Starting with the arms down, when you kick up, coming up through dolphin first, you'll bring your favorite leg up. And again, we're trying to go a little bit past center. Right? Let that leg come over. So now we've got both legs to sort of play with the balance. If you feel yourself going too much in one direction, allow your instincts to take over and you can play with the legs a bit. If balance is going okay, you can create some shapes. So once you get up there, right, you can bend both knees. You can try peering through the arms a little bit more. Right, you can swap the legs. You could take a scorpion. So you can play around. If you're using the wall, we want to make sure we have enough room to play with, so that way as you get up there, you have space, right? So you can be quite a distance away. Your legs are long. Just make sure that there's enough room or that you're close enough so that you can reach the wall and then play with a little bit of balance there. So a couple things I want you to think about. Number 1 is that tabletop exercise we did in the beginning, or the plank, right? This pushing away. We're going to use that musculature, the serratus, to stabilize the shoulder blades when we get upside down. As we jump, there's a lot of weight up there, right? So once you get up, there's a tendency to sort of sink down. So we want to keep that press away, keep the extension so we're supported and strong in the shoulder joint. The other thing I want you to be mindful of is where your hands are. There's a tendency for the arms to slide in, and that is totally fine. What we want to avoid is the kind of resistance where the wrist gets this weird kink. So when you set this up, either choose to just interlace the hands here or just take this kind of triangle shape in the arms. And then finally, we're thinking about the balance point, that pivot point, right? Feeling the weight shift into the arms and allowing the hips to come up and over. A lot of times when the hips don't go up, it's not because we don't have enough strength to jump. Usually it's a mental block. So let's give it a try. Come down with your forearms. Again, set them up in a way that you feel comfortable. Tuck your toes and lift to dolphin. Now you're welcome to stay here if you just want to build strength. Walk the toes towards the elbows. Keep your hips high. If you're going for the jump, send your favorite leg up and look forward where you're going. Try a few hops for buoyancy. And then as you jump, guide that top leg over. Find that spot of balance, and maybe you play a little bit. When you need to, come down, take a child's pose, and rest for a moment. When you're ready, we'll try the other leg. Once again, come up through dolphin. Press the floor away and maintain that. Send the opposite leg up, look forward, and try some hops. Work into the back bend. Play with where your weight is stacked. As you're ready, come on back down, child's pose. Start to bring yourself back up to tabletop. Sway your hips to the left as you look right over your shoulder. Sway the hips right and look left. Couple of these side to side. And start to come forward and into a cross-legged seat. If you'd like to sit up on a block or a blanket, that might feel better. Let your hands rest on your lap and close your eyes. Return to Ujjayi breath, restricting the throat, creating some sound and sensation. Keep your eyes closed and simply twist to the right. Guide your left hand towards your knee. Take your right fingers behind you and twist. Take it back to center. Sit up tall and twist to the left. Right hand to knee, left fingers behind. Take it back to center. Return to stillness and easy breath. Now from here, I encourage you to either lay down as slowly as you can and set up for your final resting pose, or choose to stay in this seated meditation. I invite you to stay as long as you like to close out your practice mindfully. Thank you for joining me once again. Namaste.